so I didn't put any pressure on myself. I decided to start the recording after that diatribe. I'm sorry about that. But I
No,
would
that's good because Lothar joined.
as soon as Lothar came in, then we're good to go. So I think this meeting is the Global Chamber of Chicago bi-monthly meetup, and so I know Demetris, you are the champion. You are the champion of the world. I think I know something like that. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on in Chicago. And if you, I think you've got some plans for a roundtable and talking about next steps as well. So I turn the floor over to you. Thank you for your leadership. Thanks for pulling us
Well,
together.
thank you. Thank you all for being here. I think that during our last meeting, we did talk about a roundtable and we never sort of rounded that up. So I am interested in maybe what one of the things I'd like to do is just get some ideas on, given all that's happening in the world right now, what we might be interested as a chamber, as an advisory board for Chicago, what we might be interested in talking about in a roundtable, and then we can pull that together. The other thing that we want to talk about is an upcoming event. I would say upcoming, but maybe further upcoming, like the beginning of January, and thinking about our women's event, and really not just thinking about it, but I think it's about time we start like putting some real planning out there so that we can get as many people as possible. And so Renee and I met, and I have asked her to kind of do that brainstorming with us as a group. And then I would also like to hear individually from everyone as to what's happening in your world, and what how this, well, definitely trade and ICE and is affecting us in Chicago, but what's happening with your business, and how are you holding up or innovating? Yeah, so where to start? Doug, I think I maybe would like to start with just hot seats. I'd like to hear what people are doing, and maybe this will give us an idea as to what our roundtable should be. In saying that, though, on the last meeting, we were thinking about a roundtable with another global chamber advisory board. And so we could still think about that, and also tying it in with the holidays because they are upon us.
Yeah, that's already been done. So December 1st.
Oh, I
December
didn't even realize
1st at 4 p.m. Central Time, there will be a U.S. advisory board gathering. And so it's basically, it'll probably be opened up to all the advisory boards, but it was about the top 10 advisory boards in the U.S. And to have not just the chairs, but also the advisory boards. And so they range from typically 20 people up to 50 people for a couple of the chapters. And so it probably will be a pretty big group. It's conceivable that we could have, certainly between 50 and 100 or something like that on that range. And so how it gets structured, I'm not sure, but we'll be hearing from the different cities. It started out Chicago, New York, LA, and how is the holidays in each area, and kind of give an update, but it'll go beyond that. So I think it'll be mainly intended to be a connecting opportunity. You may not know some of the other leaders that are in some of these advisory boards. It gives everybody an opportunity to see who they are, to connect up with them, and they're all amazing. So I think you're going to really enjoy it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so then we can purely talk about an issue on our roundtable. So maybe we should be aiming for somewhere like in the next 2 weeks, or is it better that we go after that meeting? I mean, like, I'm just saying, what if we talk about tariffs? I don't think we are going to talk about tariffs. At least if we do, we're going to have a very narrow topic because there's been a lot said about the tariffs. But if we did that, could we pull something like that together in 2 weeks? or if we kept it somewhere general where we talked about marketing, could we pull that off in the next 2 weeks?
I think that my own opinion of it is that the tariffs have been done. We just did, I think, two more last month, and we did a non-tariff barrier one that was spectacular also last week with Bill Edwards. That was fantastic. It's in the newsletter today, the link to it. So I kind of feel like that's certainly doable. And do we want to do another one? I think I would suggest if we do that it have a bit of a spin to it. I did. Kevin Brown of BMO was not able to attend today, but I suggested or asked if we could get the chief economist to BMO a couple years ago. They did a update on what their view
Mhm.
the economy and what was going on. And he said, yes, he would be willing to do that and maybe even make it an in-person event. So we didn't talk about timing, but other than I thought it might be more appropriate for January, so that we have a little bit more time to bring folks to the table, that kind of stuff. So that's my 2 cents.
I definitely agree with that. I like doing those, the state of the economy early in the year. I think that's been very effective to set the tone for the year. So why don't we just do a
Yeah.
quick hot seat? I mean, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Zach, we'll start with you up there in my left-hand corner. I don't know if it's like that for everyone. What's happening in your world?
Excuse me, I just have a quick question. Don't we just
Yes.
have like 10 minutes left or 9 minutes left?
We only have 10 minutes?
I thought it was only till 25, right, Doug?
It's till 40, but
Oh,
we can go longer but
okay. I got a note that said we were finishing at 25. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know that, Renee. Well, Zach, do you want to just tell us what you've been up to?
Yeah, I am doing a lot more fractional work and project work, both helping companies get into the US and helping American companies expand globally. I've been doing projects that I like to say are milestone based as opposed to retainer based, which means I come up with a plan, 7 milestones, boom. That's mostly what I've been doing. To be honest, I have been trying to get more into coaching, but I find that about 20% of my revenue comes from coaching, about 80% from fractional work. And that's about it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, and Lothar?
Okay. Well, I have spoken about the Central Illinois Tech Triangle
Yes.
pro bono venture a number of times, and there's just a little bit of bright spot here. I was at the local Chamber of Commerce Meet the Politicians evening recently, and the local representative for Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski, oh yeah, he's the district director for local Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski. And I've mentioned that there's now an Illinois AgTech corridor between Decatur and Champaign, and a number of people are wondering or concerned, why didn't this go to Peoria and Springfield and Bloomington? Why just do a small sliver of Central Illinois? And he told me that actually they've been looking at this and have been discussing this at Congresswoman Budzinski's office, but he didn't give me any specifics. But it's interesting to note that other people are concerned about the same thing. And he wouldn't tell me who else is interested, who else is contacting her. But, I guess it's slow progress and better than nothing.
Any idea why it seems to be a little secretive or?
Well, this is government, and it's not for public discussion.
Okay.
I'm just a nobody. I'm not a big captain of industry or industrialist. Maybe if I was, they'd tell me. I don't know. Well, for one thing, this corridor, AgTech corridor, is only supposed to be between Decatur and Champaign. That's how it was established by the federal government. People I know from the University of Illinois in Champaign told me that they wanted it to be bigger. They wanted it to go extend farther than just Decatur, but the federal government required it to be just between Champaign and Decatur, which seems because they wanted it small and compact and more meaningful. But on the other hand, the federal government recently put millions and millions of dollars into Greater St. Louis, Inc. That includes 11 counties in Missouri and Illinois. So why did they make that organization huge, give them millions of dollars, but make the AgTech corridor so small? I mean, that I don't know. You know, it's hard to find any answers. Again, probably because I'm not really an important entity anywhere. I don't give big contributions to anything, and my business is quite small. But I'm still working on it, not giving up.
I love that. Well, keep us posted.
Okay.
We're following it through you. So thank you
Okay.
for continuing to update us. Brian,
Hi,
hi there. How are you?
I am good. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
Brian, tell us what's going on in your world.
well, it's so just like everyone else, we're putting on the final push in the fourth quarter here, trying to get our sales up a little bit and just knocking on all the doors that we can and uh, trying to make some activity happen. Um, so let's see. Most recently, I was at a mining show in Peru, and I'm going to try and get at least two more trips, maybe three in before the end of the year.
Wow.
So it's for us overall as a company, we're a little bit off our target right now for the year, but it hasn't been a bad year. And we're optimistic looking at 2026.
Fantastic. It looks like it sounds to me like, because I'm listening to see what might be a roundtable discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the idea of looking at, Q4 and then going into the first quarter of next year. And how do you do that? Like practically, that seems like something practically that we could talk about maybe for mid-level companies. How exactly are you looking to increase whatever it is? If it's the amount of revenue or the amount of sales or expanding regionally, how exactly do you do that? And I'm sure that that's something that could be beneficial to all of us. So thank you for that. Renee, tell us what you've been up to. I mean, besides planning, and then take us into planning.
Yes, well, I've kind of had to look for alternative activities because I was planning on bringing medtech companies to the US. I would have been there at this time and was not able to get the people together from this side. So I had some great people on the US side that were ready and are ready to talk to medtech companies, and hopefully next year that will get going. In the meantime, I've been talking to some other companies to form different kinds of collaborations, and one of them is Stillman Solutions, Stillman Translations, which I don't know if you all know, Doug does. So they're a translation solution company based actually in Canada, and they have a representative in Barcelona that I met. And so we are working to get together and find clients in the education, health, and law field that really need translation solutions. So it's not just, language, it's also what is the best way to be talking to your customers in another part of the world, taking their culture into account. So when I'm there, I'm expecting to be in Chicago in January. Then I'm hoping to bring together some companies that would be interested in these services so if you can think of any, please don't hesitate to let me know. Stillman is a member of Global Chamber. So we're working together here. I didn't know if you knew that, Doug, but I have been talking a lot to Carolina and to the head of the boy. I talked to him last week. I can't remember his name. The head of Stillman.
Got it. Yeah, I only know Carolina, I think, but
Okay. I
cool.
think it's Boynton Taylor, maybe.
Okay. Do you want to throw out some of the ideas that we've been going through for the women's event?
Sure.
Let's start with dates because we need to
Okay.
narrow that.
Yes, the first thing was, so maybe do I have sharing? Can I share?
Yep.
I think it's open.
Is it? It gives me big, okay.
It's a
Okay. Why am I not? Okay, share. But it's telling me unknown. I have big. Well, we'll try this. No, I have a problem. It's my computer. I haven't used it, I guess, in screen sharing for a while. Here we go.
talk through it. That's fine.
Okay. Well, the date we were for this women's leadership event, we'd like to have it in January. So I'm hoping that that's okay with everyone because I'm planning on being there at the beginning of January. So I think that was one of the things, Doug, that we wanted to be able to set a date today or this week if possible for that. I don't know, does everyone know about this event or is it just Demetrius?
No.
We introduced it I think
Okay.
at the last meeting, but feel free, Renee, to just talk about, how this is going on all over the world, and we're not doing anything new. We're not looking to do anything new.
Okay, right. So these women's leadership conferences have gone on, I believe, for many years of course, in Phoenix and in London, in New York, in Tucson, and we would like to do one of them in Chicago. And we've talked about the beginning of next year. And I guess I'm sticking a bit on the date because, as you all know, I'm living across the ocean, but want to be there for this event. And so I thought maybe the first week of January was a bit too soon, so that it would be better if it were the second week. And with Demetrius, we were talking about the 2nd of January, she said Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually good days of the week. I'm flying out on the 14th, so it'd be great for me if we could do it on the 12th. I think, Doug, you said you didn't see a problem with that.
The 12th of
It would be the 13th, excuse me, 13th. Yes. Does that?
You're saying that for it to fit with you, it needs to be on the 13th of January?
Or beforehand.
Okay. So really Monday the 12th, and we probably don't want to do anything the week before. 12th or 13th. Okay. That's pretty limiting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So did you guys come up with some women and a man?
Okay. Ooh, do I have it? Do you see my
You
screen?
have it. You have it.
Okay. So we had a brainstorming session about 2 hours ago. In between, I was brainstorming on a farm here in France. So I'm back to Chicago. And we were thinking about something with design here, and women leading in a world designed by men. That might look a bit yeah, a bit abstract for the moment. And these are just our first ideas to have a keynote address, women leading the architecture of power, and to have 4 different kinds of panels. The first one could be on technology and innovation. So technology, when women are not in there in the design, who gets left out? And I don't know if you've read some of the documentation that many things are designed by men because there were always men engineers, for example, cars, and they're basically designed and tested with the body, a man's body. And all of the dummies that they put in there for the crash car tests are usually men's bodies. And there are a lot of things in the world that were designed around men. So have someone talking about that and how the innovation is really figuring that out and saying, hey, listen, okay, let's bring everybody in here. Let's get the data and bring it in and make things more inclusive. Then women and finance. And I think with that, Demetris, we had Sophie that was talking a lot about working in finance and trade finance, correct?
Yes, Sophia,
Sophia, sorry.
who is also a board member, who is involved in international trade, and she has had so many issues with things getting stuck in customs and then being able to navigate the financial world of international trade while competing against the Chinese. So I thought that, maybe she could be a speaker. And I like having people who are on the board to speak, but also because she is directly involved with this day to day, she can talk about actually obtaining the finances for it. And then I think okay, I'll let you go ahead because I was thinking about the man.
So technology and innovation, just back to the panel 1, I think that's not difficult to find, several people, men and women, of course, that are talking about the technology side, the innovation. We know the semiconductor area is really booming in the Midwest. In Ohio, for example, there's a big industry coming in there. And so that can be brought into it. Afterwards, lunch, a spotlight. So here we can have a founder, we can have a global diplomat that we bring from Chicago or wherever. I think we had a couple of ideas, maybe maybe we were going to ask the current mayor if he had a suggestion. Afterwards, women's health and leadership, longevity. So, and this is, of course, my baby is women's health. So I think there's a lot that we can bring in here, some innovation, some starters, some founders. Also, you have, of course, in Chicago, all the great health systems, the hospitals, the universities, and we can bring someone in, a woman who's with the Illinois Public Health Institute that can come in and talk about some of the factors that are now coming into play in the clinical trials, for example. Then our 4th one, we thought about urban planning because cities are planned in different ways. I mean, internationally, they're planned differently, but here I think we probably would stick with US. And just one small thing I was telling Demetrius beforehand is that planning is often done with a man's schedule, meaning you go from home to work and work to home. And so this is how many transport systems are calculated and how distances are calculated. They're figuring, okay, your person leaves their home, they go to work, and all of the tram lines work like that, and roads and things like that. Well, women usually don't have that trajectory. We usually have leaving home, running to the store, going to work, at lunch, running and picking up, something, the dry cleaning, and then picking up the kids. And so the way that cities are planned don't necessarily cater to that way of traveling. So, and then there's the question of public safety. Chicago is a smart city. And there is a person who was a former Chicago commissioner who is, I believe, associated with that smart cities idea. And then to wrap it up, we could have some kind of a fashion show, choose a certain either sustainable fashion or women designers or something. And how is that the identity, how does that expand globally then through fashion? What can fashion do? So those were our initial ideas. And yes, please comment.
When are you going to be in Chicago?
I'm in the US from the 17th of December to the 14th of January.
Okay.
And I'm actually flying to Chicago because it's just easier. And I thought, well, if I can see you guys for a day, that might be interesting too before I go to Ohio.
I see.
And then I'm in Chicago whenever before in
Okay.
January.
So you've got flexibility, but you're going to be based out of Ohio.
Yes, yeah.
So if we do something on the 12th or 13th of January, you could be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
If we did something the week before, you could be there as well?
I could be, yes.
Okay. So I think, given the timing, let's take this offline. That's far afield from what the Women in Global Leadership event is. We did try to do something adventurous like what you're describing a couple years ago, and it honestly was too big. It took away from the core of Women in Global Leadership, which is so inspirational and so amazing. And so let's figure out how to do it, because every one of those topics is important. So maybe it ends up becoming a separate globinars or themes of globinars. But I'd love to circle back with both of you about maybe the 2026 plan that would include a women global leadership, the topics you talked about. Probably, you've kicked us off, Renee, with the cross-cultural at the beginning of the year. That could also be done, in that first week. That's why I was asking about your schedule and all. So before we end the call, and Demetrius probably should have the last word, but is there anybody else that has anything that Zach spoke, and Terry is not in Chicago, so he doesn't count, but he is an important guy. Lothar isn't in Chicago, and he also counts, but he's, I think, already spoken. So thank you, Lothar, and Renee, and Brian has.
Chicago.
Fantastic. Anybody else have anything before Demetrius closes the room, or has your final comments, Demetrius?
I saw somebody pop in at Catherine, but looks like she's gone now.
Yeah, came and went.
Came and went. So no, I really don't have anything else. I'm glad that we were able to pop on this call. Looks like we'll take some of this offline. But if I would maybe like to see a virtual hand to see if it makes sense to try to do a roundtable just on wrapping up for Q4. Is that something that I could get your buy-in to, and maybe a couple of presentations just from us? How are you wrapping up this year and still looking forward to the next year?
Sure. When were you thinking, Demetrius?
I'm thinking, and let me just pull a calendar up here. I'm thinking, can we pull something off by like around the 19th?
The 19th of November?
Of November. Just for 1 hour, just maybe a 15-minute presentation from 3 people, and actually how to do it, make it practical. I don't know. I know how I do it, but I don't know how everyone else does it, and I might get some ideas from you all, or you all get some ideas from me. Go figure.
So what would the title be? What's the title?
Closing out your year with a bang. I see Charles that's there. Charles, we want to hear from you if you'd like to say something, but closing out with a bang, and how do you wrap up the quarter to put you in the best position for Q1 for 2026?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I caught the tail end of that. Were you referring to me?
Yeah, Charles. Yeah,
oh,
Charles. I was asking. I was asking our team here, our advisory board, if they would be interested in just pulling together a 1 hour roundtable, and the discussion would be around what are you doing to wrap up your end of the year. And that could be, oh, I'm just focusing on finances and making sure, rushing to meet my goal. Or it could be of sort of, I'm easing into it, and this is how the end of the year planning goes, so that I can effortlessly go into Q1 of 2026. So then the question that I just put on the table is, so around that's like the third week. Is that third? Yeah, third week. Would anyone be interested in joining me for a presentation like that for 1 hour, the lunch hour Globinar?
Let me just double check to see what the schedule looks like. So the 19th.
The 18th is actually looking better for me. I'm looking at it too.
Okay, and the 18th is easier to schedule. So lunch hour, so 12 o'clock Central Time. So yeah, that's doable. Yeah, one of the most organized people that I know is Bethany Bennick, who's she's with the U.S. Commercial Service, so she's not being paid right now, or she's on furlough or whatever. Is it conceivable that within 2 weeks the government could be back up, or if she would be willing to personally come on as a speaker? I don't know how that works, whether that's comfortable or uncomfortable for her. But she's a good speaker, and she's really good at that. And maybe for this topic, if we think about, for those of you that are really good at it and that would have tips, or we know other people, that would be helpful.
Okay. You're thinking that Bethany could give us some tips on, I don't know, the state of things in Chicago, or she would not be able to do that?
No, on the topic that you just mentioned about closing out 2026 or 2025 and how to get ready for next year. She's just a very organized person. She's, very unusually organized as a person. And one of the most organized people I've ever met. So she probably has some ideas or tips. But the question is, since she's furloughed by the U.S. government, I don't know how that works, and whether she can speak or publicly. I don't know how it works, quite honestly.
They're not allowed to talk. They're not allowed to talk as their role in pretty much any format during furlough. They're not even supposed to be using their work phone number or their work email.
Got it.
I've been texting. I have a lot of my friends that are in the commercial service. I've been texting them, separately, or reaching out to them on Facebook and stuff like that. They're really not supposed to. It's crazy what's going on.
Okay. Well, then probably that's not going to work. But I think we'll know people who are good speakers. So what do you think, Demetrius? We're happy to pull that together.
I like it. I think let's pull it together. Everybody, if you can, put it on your calendar, and yeah, let's pull something together to talk about that.
So the next two things that we've got are the 19th of November at noon Central for this, and we'll get this up today. And then the other.
We said the 8th. I think we said the 18th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
There's the 19th.
Thank you. The 18th, and then December 1st is the 4 p.m. Central Time. That's the advisory boards for all the U.S., and we'll have more information this week on that. Demetrius, the board chairs have it on your calendar, but the rest of the advisory board folks don't have it. But we'll have that put together with an agenda, and that's connecting. That's connecting you to the other advisory boards across the U.S., which I think you're going to have some fun with that. So. And then
Kevin
Hall putting together the the chief economist, and then the women in global leadership. So we've got a few things to plan.
Wait, Doug, when do we have the economist? What date are we looking at for that? In December?
It's open. We need to
whenever.
just through that
We need
with
his.
Kevin, but he's open to it.
Okay. I think that looks good. We're looking
Yep.
pretty good wrapping up 2025 and going into 26.
So,
For sure.
So Doug, you and I and Demetrius will try to talk here soon.
Yeah, let's circle back on the women in global leadership one for sure.
Can we stay on a couple minutes after, or you got to run?
Sure. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Okay. Zach,
All right.
Zach, I thought I
Thanks a
saw
lot,
Zach's
everybody.
hand
I
right
mean, I got to get back to work. Take care.
there.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Good seeing you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
So that'll be the end of the recording, Mila, and communicating that to Sophie. So for the rest of the call, I've been through this with the women in global leadership already, and it was such a painful process to watch, and it's hard to pull together with not a lot to come back to, like positive benefit out of it. So I think when my response, Renee, to your proposal is to break that up into different meetings. And it's easy to do them in Globinars, but if it's going to be one event, it can be hard. It can be really hard. So that would be my suggestion, and that we go to what the Women in Global Leadership event is. We just do what the model is, which is 3 women, 1 man, a woman moderator. We have the questions laid out, and really the hard work is just finding the people. Getting people to be there, or what I mean is the speakers, get really great speakers, and then have at least a month and a half of good marketing, and then probably for Chicago we probably want to have a couple months worth of marketing, and then just go to town with it.
So we would be looking at something that's no more than 2 hours.
Correct. Yeah.
Sounds like it might maybe 2 hours, about 2 hours. And then what would the topic be for, like, what would, like, everyone would be talking about women in leadership, and it could be in any industry? Is that how it works?
We look for women that are really extraordinary, so that have been really accomplished, and often we'll also have a keynote speaker associated with that. But at least those 3 really extraordinary women and 1 man. And the questions are pretty straightforward, and we already have them written out. And we've been using those questions for probably 5 years, and every single time it comes out great. So I would suggest that we at least start with that. And what we normally do is give those questions to the moderator, and they put a little bit of a different spin on it usually, but generally they're using them as they are, and it's just mainly talking about mentorship and some of the things that they've been through, and tips and techniques. And so it's more about how to navigate as a woman, and how to have advocates on the male side, and how that works, and how you've used mentorship to be able to advance. And it's those kinds of topics. And then from the man, it's typically what they've seen and how they support women, and how those dynamics work. And so it's generally, there are some stories that are shocking, might not be the right word. They're just disconcerting, but ultimately what happens is it kind of comes together, and the women have stories that are very helpful and supportive, and there's generally hope. So that's kind of the thread of it. And so my suggestion is that we just kind of use the model, and that we focus in on finding 3 really great women, 1 great moderator, and 1 great man for the panel. And then after that, it becomes easy.
Okay, and then where should it be? I mean, or should we pull on Kevin again because he's, you know, kind of opened up the BMO Tower, which
Yeah,
is always beautiful.
I think that venue could work. You know, we may want to look at some others, and let's take a look at whatever the other options are. But
Okay.
I think what I like about this whole approach is that what you guys have spoken about are topics that are really pertinent and really important, and so they should be covered. The women in global leadership typically don't go that way, and the one time that we did go that way, it was somewhat distracting, I guess, from really the core. What I saw happen was we did the Women in Global Leadership event, and then we added on some topics, and it was dragging at that point. And the speakers were amazing, but by then, all of the energy and all of the enthusiasm had been came from that first piece, and then it was somewhat anticlimactic to do anything else. And so I wouldn't want to repeat we learned that that's not something we should do again.
Okay, but we could use these topics just to carry us throughout the year, like
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
All of those topics are amazing, you know, and I'll add the cross-cultural one with Renee as well. I'd love to be able to redo that one. But you mentioned about trade finance, and you went through there were 4 or 5 different topics. All of those are important.
Okay. Okay, so we'll kind of not totally go back to the drawing board, but we'll focus more on the dynamic speaker part and the place. But should we still keep the 13th and then narrow down some times for the 13th? I guess is there any reason why we couldn't do the 12th or the 13th when you're looking at the GC calendar?
You know, if we think about how we would involve Renee, and if Kevin, for instance, said that he could get the economist to speak on the 13th, what if we did a dual session where Renee talked about cross-cultural, and we had that component in that program, and we talked about, you know, the economist. We basically have a couple speakers on the 13th at BMO Tower. You know, that, what are we, 2 months away? So we're about 2 months out. If he is able to nail that down, and it sounds like Renee's got some flexibility, if we did a program that was kicking off the year with something that really matters to the global tribe, and that's cross-cultural with Renee, and then we segue into, you know, the North American economics, maybe with a global view. I think those two pieces can go together. Certainly, global tribe people are interested in both topics. I don't know. What do you think about that, Renee? Could that work?
Yeah, of course it could work. I don't know how we make the links, but you're right. The Global Chamber members are interested in both of those topics. That's sure. Yeah.
So we start the year with what's important for you. This is sort of like we're finishing the programming with the end of the year, wrapping up the end of the year and getting ready. Then the next session is, okay, what's important? Number one, you need to understand the economics of what's going on. Number two, maybe that's not in this order. Number two is we're doing global business. So here's tips and techniques around cross-cultural to be successful this year. And I always kind of think in terms of threes. Maybe there's another thing. There's the economics, cross-cultural, and maybe one other thing. I don't know.
I have to think about the third one.
Yeah, I'm sure something will happen between now and then. Especially in the US, it seems like it always does. I like that. I think we have a plan.
It could be trade finance, and maybe Kevin does that with, you know, we've got people, and maybe Sophia contributes, and we've got Dwight, you know, who knows, you know, that, and we've got other people who know that. So maybe that's the triangle of, you know, the economy, the economics, the trade finance piece, which is always important, and the cross-cultural piece. But just an idea. I'm just throwing it out.
Another idea might be to connect the cross culture and the economics is kind of this geopolitical area, to get somebody who comes in, okay, this is the economics, how does that really translate in different, in commerce? Because sometimes I hear these economic numbers, and that's great. And they love to spit them out, the French embassy and the French consulate, and how much the French do in the US and all of this. But to me, it's just a bunch of numbers. And it doesn't always say exactly what's going on. So if you're handing out the economic numbers, then maybe you have to look at what's actually happening, and then how do you deal with that on a cross-cultural basis?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, I like that. If we find somebody who's, and
that
again,
would be the
maybe,
key. That would be get a good speaker that can talk about the geopolitical, right?
yeah, or the way I was taking that would be like a trade expert, somebody who's got kind of a view of the different market segments. So the economist is more on a macro level, more theoretical or more kind of ethereal. And if we had somebody that was like someone who knew the automotive industry and the food and beverage industry, and somebody who had that level of knowledge,
Yeah, they can
that
the actual translation of
yeah,
the economics.
Bill
Yeah.
Edwards in LA is that person. He's great. Maybe we just need to find that person in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I can definitely see Demetrius, you being the moderator of that and being able to kind of facilitate all of that.
And then maybe at the end of that, introducing that Chicago will be looking at, for the year, will be specifically looking at some of the women's
Yep.
issues involved in this other trade. So introducing it so people know what we're doing for the year.
We should do some sort of a board meeting between now and then so that we have kind of a layout of what the year looks like in terms of those things. When would the Women in Global Leadership event be? And those ideas that Renee laid out there, when would those be part of a Globinar, or would they be a separate thing? And just at least kind of have a framework. I know for the Phoenix chapter, we have a board meeting this Thursday, and we have every other month we have an in-person event, and every month we have a Globinar. And we don't have every Globinar, but we do have every other in-person event. We have it kind of mapped out of what it is and what we're expecting and that kind of thing. And so
you already have it mapped out
for 2016, yeah, all the way through, for the next year, at least the big events, so
okay.
there's one in January. Well, we have a holiday party. We have an event this Thursday. We have a holiday party. We have a January event. We have a February, and then every even month. So April, June, August, and October, we have events for all of those already kind of laid out with dates and everything like that. So that's pretty advanced. I don't know if we can get that far, but
that in Phoenix, you
That's
said?
good.
yeah.
Phoenix, okay. Who's the director, executive director?
It's a guy named Eduardo Gonzalez.
Oh, I've spoken to him. Yeah.
So I've been helping, and and the Women in Global Leadership, we do that every August. So that's helpful, is that we have kind of a schedule for that. We've historically had a schedule, and COVID messed it all up. So now we're trying to get back into a schedule.
And how many people do you typically have? I mean, I think I've read it, but 100 and some? No?
For the Women in Global Leadership?
Yes.
Yeah, we had the last, let's see, this one we had about 120. And then last year we had about 140. And then the year before we had in that range, 120 and 140. So that's been fairly typical. In the earlier days when we did it, the room only fit 100. So it would be about 100 people. And then COVID hit, and then we did them virtually for a while. So
and how many did you have at the BMO event earlier this year? About 60?
I don't think it was that high. Did you say around 40, Demetrius?
I thought it was around 60.
It was, okay. Oh, that's cool. That's great. That's great.
I mean, it wasn't as well attended. No, it was. It was about the same as our other event, maybe a little bit more because the space is larger. So I felt like, yeah, we had a pretty good representation there.
Okay. So I think I've got to do a better job of pulling in more folks and also, you know, empowering the advisory board to be part of this whole process. And so, Demetrius, are you okay with being the advisory board chair, you know, for 2026, and you know, and you and I working closely and me doing a better job of supporting you? I mean, I feel like I've supported you, but I think there's more
I know.
things.
I think you've been amazing. I
Well,
mean, I'm always trying to figure out how you do what you do.
well,
But yeah, I definitely feel supported.
okay, cool. That's good. That makes me feel better. I feel like there's more that we can do and there's more that I can do. And now we've been spending the last 6 months in building the systems at Global Chamber. And it's been you know, as all IT programs are, it's been demoralizing and debilitating and draining and discouraging, and ultimately moments of glee and happiness and joy as things actually start to work. And so we're starting to see more of those pop up. Last week there were about 3 or 4 of them. They're like, wow, we can do that now. Wow. So that's exciting. So I think I'll be able to do more. And I believe in Chicago. I think we can have an amazing chapter. But I there's certain things I need to do to support you, and I promise to do that.
Okay, and some things I need to do, but I did want to tell you that I am now back on WhatsApp. So I think I need an invitation to
Oh, wow.
Global Chamber. I don't know if it's Global Chamber Chicago, but it's something that we instituted, but I couldn't get WhatsApp on my phone, and I have it now.
No, you're kidding. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I can do that. And
Renee, are you on that? Are you on that one? Are you on that group?
Not anymore, no.
Okay.
I was just getting so much from there, so
Okay.
yeah,
And
it's
no, I guess I am still, so I don't know. There's just a lot on there and you get into overload. So, I don't know if I was on I'm on the French speaking one, I'm on the Spanish speaking one.
Oh, I
I
could
don't
get on the
know.
French one and practice my French.
Well, it doesn't do much, I have to say.
Okay, I don't know. I just Doug, I just looked and I don't see Chicago.
Yeah,
So if you
I'm
could
on the
just
main one. I'm on the main one now.
Demetrius.
I don't know about the Chicago one. I don't
Demetrius Evans. Here we go. Let's see if I can do this. Add one person. Let's see what happens.
groups, add groups. What am I adding?
Can't add Demetrius. You can invite them privately to join this group. Okay, I can invite you. Invitation to join my WhatsApp group. So I don't know what that means, or
Oh, I just got it.
oh, okay. Did they come into WhatsApp?
Yeah, it came into WhatsApp, GC
Okay.
Midwest.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, now I see that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
So
on. Okay.
there you go. And I see it on the site. So,
I
okay.
am not on it. It says I'm not a member of the group and I can't add myself. So you would have to invite me to that,
Midwest.
please.
See. Yeah, Cesar is actually got another group that we're adding. It's our own, you know, kind of private community. So, because I kind of agree with you there, Renee. I mean, there's a lot of noise, and especially, you know, there's certain people that are quite noisy, and so I periodically have to get involved with some of those. Renee Meyer, I see. Oh, I see 2 of you here. Oh, that's interesting. Same
Oh,
picture. One of them says available. I wonder what that means. You're available. So
I don't know.
so there. Did you just receive something by any chance? And I could send it to both of you. I don't know why I would have 2 of you
Yes, I've just received it. Yeah.
receive it. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So that one said you were available. It was the
Wait,
second
that
list.
was Maine.
There you go.
Oh, wait. No, I don't see this. What's going on here?
You added Renee Meyer. So you did get added. And I'll send you a message. Yay.
Is there like a topic, or do I just like I don't do I just introduce, hey, I'm here now? What's
Yeah, I think introducing yourself and, spelling out your name and putting your LinkedIn profile, that's the recommended.
okay?
Yeah, I'm Demetrius Evans, Queen of the World, and also the advisory board chair of Global Chamber Chicago. And hey, international law, come to me.
Okay.
And here's my LinkedIn profile. So,
Okay, I like it.
cool. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I'll get this event up on the 18th and also send information about December 1st. And then let's chat about maybe the plan. And after the Thursday with the Phoenix one, where we get everything set, maybe I'll come back to you, Demetrius, with here's kind of what I think. And Renee, I'm happy to copy you on this so we can insert those things that you talked about today.
Okay, sounds good.
Did I reach out to Kevin?
And Kevin, I think maybe I didn't copy you. But if you want to reach out to him, that's fine. I did suggest the 12th or 13th for the event with the Economist. I didn't give him any of the other information that we just talked through.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay. Thanks, ladies.
Perfect. Have a great week.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
You bet.
Bye. Bye.